What up, everybody, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there watching this video. And in honor of Mother's Day, I'm dedicating this video to the mothers of the Power Universe and asking the question, who is the worst mother in the Power Universe? Go ahead and leave your pick in the comments. Now, there has been some good mothers in Power. Tasha St. Patrick, Lakeisha, Evelyn Castillo is a few off the top of my head. And I know there's a mixed reaction to whether Tasha was a good mother or not. But keep in mind, as her kids were growing up, she didn't want them anywhere near the light. And her thing is that she lied to them about where her and Ghost came from. She was raising up Raina to sing and would go to bat for her children no matter what, right or wrong. To me, Tasha is a really good mother. Once Raina died and she understood that Tariq was going to pursue a life in the game, whether they liked it or not, this is when she decided to teach Tariq the game so he wouldn't get himself killed or end up in prison. Now, she did plan with Tariq to murder his father, Ghost, but she made sure it was what Tariq wanted and did not ask Tariq to be the one to pull the trigger. Though I gotta say here that this wasn't a good move. Neither did she think about how this would affect Yaz. Of course, they were thinking they were going to get a huge inheritance from Ghost Estate and live the good life somewhere with him out of the way. Tasha also took the murder rap for Tariq and didn't snitch on him even when he asked her to. Now, I do admit Tasha asking Reek to kill both Tamika Washington and Epiphany was kind of crazy. But at least Tariq didn't follow through either time, and Tasha wasn't really in her right state of mind being locked away in jail facing a life sentence. But for Tasha, the good far outweighs the bad with me to include her in this list. Getting me to the topic of today's video, the worst mothers in the Power Universe. And I got 4 on my list to go over before I make my decision. That is Kenya from Raising Kanan, Rock from Raising Kanan, Monet Tahada from Book 2, and from Power and Force, the OG Kate Egan. Starting with Kenya, who was the mother of Jukebox. And as far as we know, she had no other children. And either though Kenya, played by my girl Latoya Luckett, is not a main character like Monet or Rock or long-standing like Kate, her short-lived time on the show was still enough to make the list. We all heard about the daddy who went to the gas station to get milk and never came home. Well, this is the type of mother Kenya was. One day she picked up and ran off to California to be a singer and never looked back. When her singing career bottomed out, she returned to New York but never bothered to locate her daughter. It was actually Jukebox who tracked Kenya down, looking to have a relationship with her mom. Jukebox wanted so bad to have a good relationship with her mom, she even went on a date with a square named Corey, only in return for her mom to trick her into thinking they were going to have some mother-daughter time, but she ends up being tied down to a chair in an attempt to exorcise the devil out of her in front of the whole church. Sticking with Raising Kanan, but turning my attention to Raquel Thomas, Kanan's mom. Again, as far as I know, Rock only has one child as well. Rock on the surface looks like a good mother. Very strict. She initially wanted Kanan in school and nowhere near the streets. Much like Reek and Tasha, Kanan was going to be in the streets one way or another, whether Rock liked it or not. And she initially just tried putting him on things like sitting at the stash house or other jobs to keep him out of the way. Rock also killed a teenager, D-Wiz, to pin a murder on him and get the heat off of Kanan. Not to mention that D-Wiz was Kanan's best friend. But everything went bad when Rock sent her 15-year-old son to kill his own father, who is also a police officer. Of course, Kane did not know it was his father at the time because Rock lied to him his whole life about who his dad was. Now keep in mind that Kane was only 15 years old and never killed anyone before and definitely not ready for the job. Luckily, Howard survived and revealed the truth to Kanan. But even when confronted with the truth, Rock still lied about it, putting tension between her and Kanan to this day. Getting me to Monet Tahada from Ghost. Monet is the proud mother of 4, Zeke, Kane, Drew, and Diana. When we were first introduced to Monet in Ghost Season 1, we would have thought she was a pretty decent mom and auntie to Zeke. Well, it turns out that Zeke, R.I.P., was not actually Monet's nephew, but her firstborn child. So Zeke, thinking he was 18, was actually 23. No wonder he was dominating all his competition on the basketball court. He was a solid 4 or 5 years older than them. Well, right before Zeke was accidentally shot in the back and killed, just seconds earlier, Monet killed Zeke's dad, Mecca, who she also lied to for 23 plus years, who Zeke recently just met for the first time. Mecca said Zeke will hate you, and she told him he'll get over it. Then get into Ghost Season 3. Monet finds out that her husband Lorenzo and the father of her other 3 children was the one who accidentally killed Zeke. Instead of sparing Lorenzo mercy and thinking about her other kids, she set up Zoe to get killed by her son's boyfriend, Gordo. And of course, she couldn't have Gordo living too much longer, so he could eventually go run his mouth. So she exposed to Drew that Gordo killed his dad and had Drew kill Gordo. Boy, I tell you, Monet is a 1 in a million. Wrapping it up with Kate Egan, the OG, proud mother of 2 and grandma of 1. At least we think. JP and Tommy. Kate abandoned JP from the time he was born and never looked back until one day she bumps into Tommy at her dead mom's house while she was looking for money and finds out that her other son has a son and she is a grandma. And for Tommy, the son she did raise, having Kate for a mom was so bad, he told JP that he was better off that Kate abandoned him and was better off not knowing her. Tommy has supported Kate's cocaine addiction for over 25 years. Tommy has actually been really good to Kate, buying her a house, and she never had to work again once Tommy started hustling. However, Kate never even mentioned to Tommy that he had a brother. She also told him his father was dead. Come to find out that Tommy's dad was still alive, and he was a mobster named Tony Teresi, who'd been in prison the last 25 years. Tony ended up finding Tommy when Ghost was locked up, but Kate still denied Tony being his father until Tommy threatened to kill her. Like I mentioned, Tommy took care of Kate for years, but when Ghost died, she blamed it on Tommy, and since she got that big check from Ghost, she told Tommy to get out of her life. That's my quick run through on my nominees for Worst Mother in the Power Universe. At the end of the day, this is not an easy choice, but my pick is Kenya. Not only did she do everything I already mentioned, but she left her daughter, not a son like Kate, to be raised by Marvin of all people. And people wonder why Jukebox grew up to be so messed up. Like Kanan told Ghost, she got no heart. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts and your pick in the comments.